I'm Rachel, 27, and 3 weeks ago, I learned that the man I'd been dating for 9 months had a completely different understanding of what our relationship was. When he showed up at my door in the middle of the night begging for help, I realized karma works faster than I ever expected. I met Caleb last January through a dating app. He was 29, worked in graphic design, had this artistic, understated confidence that I found attractive. We hit it off immediately, shared interests in hiking, cooking, old movies, easy conversations that stretched late into the night. By March, we were exclusive, or at least I thought we were. He'd spend weekends at my place. We introduced each other to friends, talked about taking a trip together in the fall. It felt steady, comfortable, real. But around July, things started feeling different. Caleb became less available, took longer to respond to texts, canceled plans at the last minute. When I asked about it, he said work was busy or that he needed space for his mental health. I tried to be understanding. Everyone needs space, right? The breaking point came 3 weeks ago on a Saturday night. We were supposed to have dinner at my place. I'd made reservations at an Italian restaurant he loved and planned to surprise him. He texted at 5 p.m., saying he couldn't make it, that he wasn't feeling well. I was disappointed, but I told him I understood, hoped he felt better. Except at 9 p.m., my friend Marcus sent me a photo. Caleb at a bar downtown with a woman I didn't recognize. They were sitting close, laughing. Her arm was draped casually around his shoulders. Marcus's text read, "Isn't this your guy?" I stared at that photo for probably 10 minutes before I called Caleb. He answered on the fourth ring. I could hear music and voices in the background. "Hey, what's up?" he said, cheerful, not sick at all. "Who are you with right now?" I asked. Pause. "What do you mean?" "I mean, my friend just sent me a photo of you at Hendrix with some woman. So who is she?" Another pause, longer this time. "Rachel, I can explain." "I'm not asking for an explanation. I'm asking who she is." "She's a friend. We ran into each other." "You told me you were sick," I said. "You canceled our dinner because you weren't feeling well. Now you're at a bar with your arm around someone else. So either you lied about being sick, or you're lying about who she is, or both." "You're being paranoid." "Caleb, I have a photo. There's no paranoia here. Just tell me the truth." He sighed heavily. "Fine. Her name is Alexis. We've been seeing each other." The words hit like a physical blow. "Seeing each other?" I repeated. "While you've been dating me?" "We're not exclusive, Rachel." "We literally had a conversation about being exclusive 4 months ago," I said. "You agreed to it." "I agreed because you seemed to need that label," he replied. "But I never promised I wouldn't see other people. You just assumed." I felt cold all over. "So you've been dating both of us this whole time?" "I've been keeping my options open. There's nothing wrong with that." "There's everything wrong with that. When you let me believe we were in a committed relationship, did you tell Alexis about me?" "That's none of your business." "It absolutely is my business. Does she know you have a girlfriend?" "You're not my girlfriend, Rachel," he said flatly. "You're someone I've been spending time with. Stop acting like I owe you loyalty. I don't." I hung up. I sat on my couch, staring at nothing for about an hour. Then I blocked his number, blocked him on social media, and tried to process that the past 9 months had been a lie. The next day, I reached out to Marcus and asked if he could find out who Alexis was. Marcus knew people, had connections. Within a few hours, he had a name, an Instagram profile, and some unsettling information. Alexis worked in finance, seemed successful, posted constantly about her lifestyle. And she was very clearly in a relationship with Caleb based on her photos. Couple shots going back 3 months, captions like, "My person," and "Best thing that ever happened to me." So Caleb hadn't just been keeping his options open. He'd been playing both of us, making each of us think we were his primary relationship. I didn't reach out to Alexis immediately. I was angry and hurt and needed time to think. I spent that week focusing on work, hitting the gym harder than usual, trying not to think about how stupid I'd been. A week later, Alexis posted something on Instagram that stopped me cold. It was a photo of an engagement ring with the caption, "She said yes, can't wait to spend forever with you." Tagged in the post was Caleb. They'd gotten engaged after 3 months of dating, or however long they'd actually been together, if you subtracted the time he was lying to both of us. I stared at that post for a long time. Part of me felt sick. Part of me felt vindicated. If he was rushing into an engagement, maybe he wasn't as confident in his choices as he'd pretended to be. Mostly, I just felt tired. But I also felt like Alexis deserved to know the truth. She was about to marry someone who'd been dating two people simultaneously while lying to both of us. That's not someone you build a life with. I created a burner Instagram account and sent her a message. "Hey, Alexis. Congrats on the engagement. I don't know if Caleb mentioned this, but he and I were dating until about a week ago. We were together for 9 months. He told me we were exclusive while apparently also building a relationship with you. Thought you should know before you marry someone who lies this easily. I have texts and photos if you need proof. I sent screenshots, messages where Caleb called me babe, photos of us together with timestamps, the conversation where he admitted to seeing both of us. Then I logged out and tried to forget about it. 2 days later, Caleb called from a different number. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. What did you do? His voice was shaking with rage. I told Alexis the truth, I said. She deserved to know. You had no right. I had every right. You lied to both of us. You let her propose to you while knowing you'd been with me a week earlier. She's calling off the engagement, he shouted. She won't even talk to me. You ruined everything. I didn't ruin anything. You did. The call ended with him swearing at me. I blocked that number too. For almost 2 weeks, I didn't hear anything. Then, at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, there was frantic knocking at my door. I looked through the peephole and saw Caleb standing there, eyes wild, face pale, panic written all over him. Against my better judgment, I opened the door. What are you doing here? I asked. I need to talk to you, he said breathlessly. Please, I need your help. Help! The word hung between us as he stepped inside, hands shaking, like someone who had finally run out of places to hide. He sat on my couch, elbows on his knees, head in his hands, trying to slow his breathing. Alexis is threatening me, he said finally. Threatening you how? I asked, arms crossed, staying standing. She found out about you, and she lost it. Completely lost it. She's been messaging me nonstop, saying I ruined her life, that I'm going to regret humiliating her. She showed up at my apartment today, pounding on the door, screaming. My neighbors called the building manager. I'm scared, Rachel. I think she might actually hurt me. Did you call the police? I asked. And tell them what? That my fiancé is mad because I lied to her? He laughed weakly. They'll think I'm overreacting. If she's threatening you and showing up at your place, that's harassment, I said. You need to report it. I can't. His voice cracked. There's something else. Something I didn't tell anyone. He pulled out his phone with trembling hands and opened his messages. He handed it to me. The messages from Alexis were unhinged. Long paragraphs calling him every name imaginable, saying he'd pay for humiliating her, that she'd make sure everyone knew what kind of person he was, that he'd regret ever crossing her. Then he scrolled up. My stomach dropped. Caleb, I said slowly, these messages, are you telling me she was threatening you even before the engagement? He nodded, tears spilling down his face. She's been like this for weeks. Ever since I tried to pull back a little, she started getting possessive, jealous, demanding to know where I was, who I was with. So that's why you were still seeing me, I said quietly. I didn't know how to leave her without setting her off, he said. You felt safe, normal. I thought if I kept things light with you, I could figure out an exit without blowing everything up. Then she proposed, and I panicked. I said yes, because I was scared of what she'd do if I said no. The room felt smaller. So you weren't just playing both of us, I said. You were using me as an escape route. I know how it sounds, he said quickly, but I didn't know what else to do. It sounds like you put me in danger without telling me, I replied. If she's as unstable as you're saying, what if she'd found out about me while we were still together? What if she'd come after me? I didn't think. That's the problem, I said sharply. You didn't think. You made choices that affected everyone around you without considering the consequences. I stood up. You need to go to the police, I said. Show them these messages. Get a restraining order. But I can't do this alone, he said, desperation creeping into his voice. Rachel, please. No, I said. I'm sorry you're scared. I'm sorry you got involved with someone dangerous. But you lied to me for months. You put me in a potentially dangerous situation without my knowledge. And now you want me to what? Protect you? Fix this for you? He stared at the floor. I don't have anyone else. My friends don't believe me. They think I'm exaggerating because I feel guilty about cheating. Were you cheating? I asked. Or were you trying to escape? He didn't answer right away. Both, he said finally. I liked you. I liked her at first too. Then she got scary and I didn't know how to leave, so I kept seeing you because you felt safe. I thought maybe if she knew I had someone else, she'd let me go. That's not how dangerous people work, I said. You don't make them jealous to get away. You run, and you get help. I know that now. I walked to the door and opened it. Go to the police tonight, I said. Show them everything. Get a restraining order. Then find a therapist and figure out why you handled this the way you did. But I can't be involved in this anymore. He stood slowly, looking defeated. I really am sorry, he said. I believe you, I replied. But sorry doesn't fix the situation. Go to the police. He left. I locked the door behind him and immediately texted Marcus, letting him know what had happened, in case Alexis somehow connected me to the Instagram message. The next morning, I got a call from a police detective. Caleb had gone to the station after leaving my place, filed a report, and given my name as someone who could corroborate his story about Alexis's behavior. I spent an hour on the phone explaining what I knew. That Caleb and I had dated, that he'd also been seeing Alexis, that I'd sent her a message revealing the truth, that he'd shown me threatening messages from her the night before. The detective said that they were taking it seriously. Alexis had a prior incident on her record involving an ex-girlfriend. They were issuing a temporary restraining order while they investigated further. Over the next week, the full story came out through police interviews and social media posts from mutual friends. Alexis had a pattern of controlling behavior in relationships. Caleb wasn't the first man she'd love-bombed and then turned possessive with. Her ex from 2 years ago had filed a restraining order that eventually expired. She'd been court-ordered to attend anger management, which clearly hadn't worked. Caleb had legitimately been scared, but he'd also made catastrophically bad choices. Instead of leaving immediately and seeking help, he tried to manage the situation by keeping me as a backup, which put both of us in potential danger. The restraining order was granted. Alexis violated it twice, once by showing up at Caleb's work, once by creating fake social media accounts to message him. She was arrested both times. Last I heard, she's facing stalking charges and possible jail time. Caleb reached out one more time about 3 weeks after that midnight visit. He sent a long email apologizing, explaining that he'd started therapy and was working through why he'd made the choices he had. He said he understood if I never forgave him, but wanted me to know he took full responsibility for putting me in a bad situation. I didn't respond, not because I was still angry, but because there was nothing left to say. He'd lied to me, used me, endangered me without my knowledge. The fact that he had reasons for it, even understandable ones like fear, didn't change the impact of his choices. It's been 3 months since the night Caleb showed up at my door. I'm doing okay. The whole situation left me wary about dating, but I've been taking it slow, paying attention to red flags, trusting my instincts when something feels off. I heard through mutual friends that Caleb moved to a different city to get away from everything. Alexis is awaiting trial. Her lawyers are apparently trying to paint her as a heartbroken woman who reacted badly to being cheated on. But the prosecution has her history with other partners, so that defense isn't going well. The weirdest part of all this is that I still don't know if Caleb genuinely cared about me or if I was just a convenient escape plan the entire time. Maybe it was both. Maybe he doesn't even know. What I do know is this: I don't owe you loyalty becomes I need your help real fast when consequences catch up. And while I feel bad that he ended up in a scary situation, I don't regret walking away. You can't build anything real with someone who doesn't respect honesty or recognize responsibility to the people they're involved with. People keep asking if I regret sending that message to Alexis, if I feel responsible for how she reacted. The answer is no. Her reaction was her choice, driven by issues that existed long before I came into the picture. All I did was tell the truth. What she did with that truth revealed who she already was. I learned that sometimes karma isn't about revenge. It's just about truth catching up with people who've been avoiding it. Caleb avoided the truth about Alexis's behavior, avoided the truth about what he was doing to me, and eventually, all those avoided truths collapsed at once. I also learned that you can feel sympathy for someone in a bad situation while still maintaining boundaries about what you're willing to be dragged into. Caleb needed help that night. I pointed him toward the right resources, but I didn't owe him my protection or involvement beyond that. And I don't regret that either. The last I heard, he's doing better, safe, in therapy, trying to build a new life somewhere else. I hope that's true, not because I want to reconcile or stay in touch, but because nobody deserves to live in fear, even people who've made terrible choices. As for me, I'm more careful now, about people who can't give straight answers about what they want, about people who keep their options open instead of committing, about people who say loyalty is optional instead of fundamental. Because here's what I know now. If someone tells you they don't owe you loyalty, believe them. They're telling you exactly who they are and how they'll treat you when things get complicated. And when things inevitably do get complicated, don't be surprised when they show up asking for the loyalty they claimed they never owed you. Edit 1. For people asking why I let Caleb in that night, I know it was stupid. In the moment, He looked genuinely terrified, and I made a split-second decision. Would I do it differently now? Probably. But I pointed him toward actual help and set boundaries, which was the best I could do in that situation. Edit 2. Alexis's trial is still pending as far as I know. I haven't been asked to testify since I didn't witness any of the harassment directly. Caleb is the primary witness, along with neighbors and coworkers who saw her behavior. Edit 3. Yes, I probably should have contacted Alexis sooner instead of waiting a week. I was processing my own feelings and didn't think through the implications fast enough.